Hello and welcome back to another video on TGM Guitars. Just want to start the video off how I always start them off, thanking everyone who's watched videos recently, everyone who's subscribed, liked, left a comment. It's always good to get some interaction going on. And if you haven't already, then please consider subscribing if you've enjoyed this video. Maybe even leave a like. You can even comment with ways that I can improve my videos, what you think I'm doing well. It's always good to get some feedback and just any questions or things that I may have left out in the video. So without further ado, let's jump into the topic. So I kind of started a series last year where I was going to go through all of my guitars and talk you through them, why I own them, tell you a little bit of backstory behind them, and just let you know what I'm using. And it's sort of stuff that you will see coming up in videos, and well, it's all my gear, so it's the stuff I'll be using. So I thought, you know what, I'll go ahead with that and bring you probably my number 2 guitars. So the first guitar that I covered was my Gibson Les Paul. Second video I believe was a Gretsch. So today we are going to go over my Fender Strat. So here it is, my Fender Strat, nothing too fancy. It is a 2013 made in Mexico standard. It has got upgraded pickups in it. So it's got Tonerider city limits. I've also wired up the tone control to work on the bridge pickup, but apart from that, it's stock. And I've got to say, it's probably one of my most reliable guitars. So I picked this up, it was actually in 2014 I got this, but it was January, so it was kind of the backlog of the older 2013 stock. So most of my guitar idols are played Fender Stratocasters, from Hendrix to Clapton to Mayer. All of them are Strat guys, and myself, my first guitar was a Stratocaster. So I wanted to kind of step up to the Fender. I had a Squire at the time, as well as my Johnson, which I've still got, and my Starfire, which I've still got. But I wanted sort of the real deal. And I know some people are saying it's not the real deal because he's just a Mexican, but it says Fender on the headstock and it plays like a dream. So to me, this was the real deal. So after years of playing knockoff Strats, I decided for my 18th birthday I would save up the money that I earned from working at a cinema scooping popcorn and buy myself this in this, what I have to say is a stunning candy apple red colour. I even got a comment on it when I took it to rehearsal of how nice the colour is. Went for the maple neck because of, well, Mark Knopfler. He had the candy apple red. I know it was a Schecter he played, but the candy apple red Schecter with maple fretboard. That guitar to me is kind of iconic. I know he plays Fender custom shops now, but that to me was one of the images that stuck in my head. I know I'm not showing all the guitar and it's not the best camera angle for that, but there'll be some nice B-roll coming up, I'm sure. So yeah, I made the decision. It must have been a couple of years after owning this. I'm trying to think of when it was, maybe 2016. Yeah, not long before I got the Gibson actually. I made the decision to swap out the pickups. Now, the standard Mexican pickups are all right. They get a job done. They get that Strat sound. They're currently sitting in my Johnson Strat, which I will show you in a future video. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to upgrade. I couldn't afford any fancy Fender custom shop pickups because what I was after were the Texas Specials. And you know, when you're talking about breaking into about 200 quid, I know you can get the Tex-Mex, but they were a little bit different. So I did some research and ended up settling on Tonerider. And yeah, I can't complain. These are city limit pickups. They're basically their version of the Texas Specials, almost to the same spec. Easy installation with Strats, pick guard off, solder a few wires here and there, and off you go. And as I said, when I first introduced this guitar in this video, it's one of my most reliable guitars. The only time I've opened it up is to do the tone control mod, put the new pickups in, and I've not had to touch it. I mean, touch wood. I've not had to actually bust this thing open and do any repairs on it. I have got the back plate removed, which some people do. I don't know if it's because they catch on it when they're playing live. I simply do it because it's easier to restring. Having to take this thing on and off and mess about with that when you're kind of playing gigs every other weekend and wanting I tend to change strings for every other gig, so I was constantly changing strings in this when I was playing with my old band. So that came off, and I know that's the way that the John Mayer Silver Skies come, so maybe there's some method to the madness. And apart from that, this thing, the neck, absolutely lovely sort of modern C-neck, satin finish on the back. This is when they started doing that on the Mexican standard line, and the gloss finish on the fretboard, so you still get that nice sort of glassy texture, but without the stickiness on the back, which I absolutely love. It is probably a little bit brighter. The next guitar that I want is going to be a rosewood fretboard, as far as Strats go, when I eventually upgrade to an American. But apart from that, you know, it's been a good workhorse guitar for me, and it's really sort of worth its weight in gold. So let's jump over, plug it in. I will go through the Vox. So if you want to know all the gear I'm using, I previously did a video, shameless plug here, of my 2021 live rig, what I'm planning to take out when I play live with my band Rerun. So it's basically my pedal board through my Vox, and that's what I'm going to be putting this through. So I'll try and talk you through the kind of sounds I'm going for. I won't bother with the little pop-ups that I do saying what pedal's going into the amp, because it's not about that. It's about the guitar. So let's jump over and plug this into the amp. Apologise if the audio was a little bit off in that intro thing. I only turned around when I was setting this up and realised that my computer decided it wanted to stop recording audio, which was a little bit annoying about 3 minutes into that intro recording take. So hopefully this sounds better. I've now got the lapel microphone actually connected up and working. So quick overview of the signal chain. I know I touched on it before. We are going straight from the Strat into my pedal board, straight into the Vox, which then goes out into the 2 notes, Torpedo Captor X, and into my DAW. So I'll probably add a little bit of reverb on as I realise that I've not actually set the guitar up. 1 second. So that's better, got it set up now. Hopefully it will actually record something. Don't want to make the same mistake twice now, do I? But anyway, as I was saying before, touch of reverb using Breverb within Cakewalk. We're going to start off with the neck and middle, probably my favourite position on a Stratocaster. Not much of a surprise when I'm a Mayer fan, so absolutely love it. And just, you'll hear it. It's one of my favourite sounds. So it's how I want a Strat to sound. I can't really say any more than that. It's the sound I have in my head when I think of a Stratocaster. I know some people think of the neck, but what I'm going to do now is chuck a little bit of chorus on that, because I actually used this when I was recording with Off Topic, and yeah, it's another thing, a bit of dimension from the MD500. So it's just got that, there's such a smooth sound. But anyway, let's chuck it onto the neck. Still some clean tones. Nice warm sound, and I mean you kick, in this case, the tube screamer onto it. So you get into that nice bluesy territory. To me, this is the ultimate blues guitar. I know some people say Les Paul, but to me it is this. Now what I will do, underrated sound, this is the old middle position, so on a nice clean, or even with a little bit of tube screamer, volume down a little bit. I need to try not to get copyrighted, but hopefully that's not too much. It's such an underrated sound. I don't understand why people don't use it that much. Admittedly, I don't use it that much, and I probably should. When writing stuff, it's a nice sort of thing to have in the arsenal. So, obviously, another classic position when you talk about cleans, if you're talking about the Mark Knopfler thing that I said earlier, is the old bridge and middle. It's just the sound of those two pickups. They are the in-between sounds are always my favourite on a Strat. It's just, there's something about them. It adds a bit around this, and yeah, I'm just fanboying over this guitar, aren't I? But anyway, we will go on to the bridge. A bit of clean. Now, this being sort of Texas special style pickups, it can be a little bit harsh, which is why I've got the tone mod on. Roll a little bit of the highs off and it becomes a nice kind of solid meaty tone because it's higher output, and it just takes away some of that edge. So it's still a little bit raspy, even with the tone backed off a little bit. That's on 7 at the moment, but it really sort of comes into its own when you kick the gain up a notch. So what I'm going to do is go onto my clon setting. Again, if you want to know more about these settings and the sounds, go to my previous video. Get a bit more noise like this, but I could literally play that for days. I just can't play fast today. But anyway, I can't play fast at the best of times, let's be honest. Yeah. This is with the tone all the way up. It's not too ice picky. It can still be used. It's just such a good guitar. And as Clapton once said, you can make a Strat sound like a Les Paul, but you can't make a Les Paul sound like a Strat. And it's one of the ultimate guitars in my arsenal. And it's, as I said, it just gives me the sound that I want out of a Strat. Now, I do want to upgrade to a more expensive American at some point. I think you've got to, if you're really sort of into the guitars like I am. But for now, and for near future, and this thing's got a few battle scars, a few little scratches on the back, which you can't see because it's poly, a few dents on the neck as well. It's been used, it's been abused, and honestly, as I've said, it's one of my most solid and reliable guitars. Anyway, I think that's enough. I've gone over a few sort of sounds and give you a few snippets of all the positions, and yeah, and I've banged on enough about how much I love this guitar. So I hope that's been somewhat interesting and given you a good idea of sort of why I've got that guitar and why I love it so much. It's just, as I said, such a versatile guitar to have, and in my opinion, everybody should have a Stratocaster in their collection, and that is mine. I mean, yes, I've got 3 of them, but that is my number one Strat, so to speak. It was my number one guitar for so long until I got the Les Paul, and it's still a close second. I only really take the Red Special over that for gigging because of the tremolo arm. I know the Strat's got one, but Red Special stays in tune better, and also I've kind of got to have it for the Queen. But when I used to gig with my old band, it was straight away Les Paul and Strat. The Gretsch came in a little bit later, but it was those two that got me through God knows how many gigs doing rock covers. But I hope this has been somewhat interesting. I know it seems like I'm just kind of showing off, oh look what I've got, but anybody who's looking to buy a standard and is thinking, is it actually worth it because it's not a higher end Fender? I know there's a lot of people online that are like, oh, you've got to buy this version of it because otherwise it's not the real thing. That's a Strat. It sounds like a Strat, looks like a Strat, plays like a Strat. It's a Strat. It's got Fender on the headstock, and it's a great guitar to play. At the end of the day, if you're inspired, you don't have to worry about whether it's a Mexican or a American. It's a Fender, and it sounds like it, and it's, yeah, to me, absolutely brilliant. And if you're thinking of pickups and haven't got the money to spend on really expensive ones, go check out Tonerider. I've never looked back since I put those pickups in. Say never looked back. I have thought about putting different ones in it, but they will most likely be another Tonerider set just to kind of try a few different things. But anyway, enough of me rambling, enough of me saying but anyway. If you like this video, please comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you like about the video, what you don't like. Just don't be nasty, that's all I ask. I ask that in every single one of my videos. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.